Welcome to Queer Conversations. I am your host G of Verity TV, here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. EST, and my guest today is Darlene Hollander. Let me just bring this up a little bit. See how that is? Do you see us? You see us? See, right?
Hi.
Hey. So Darlene is with SunServe and also Ignite, South Florida. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
My pleasure. So we'll get started a little bit with talking about, thanks for joining everybody. Please share. Please like this page, Verity TV. Please ask questions. Darlene is here. She said she'll answer any question, right?
Yes, sure.
Any questions that's asked of her, she's willing to.
Be kind.
Be kind, as she says. So tell us first a little bit like what's SunServe. We're in South Florida, by the way, and this is an organization in South Florida.
Yeah, so we're an LGBT social services organization focusing primarily on mental health and wraparound case management. We have a HOPWA department for people with AIDS. We have a large youth department. We have a senior services department, a transgender services department, and then our department, which is women's services. So we provide wraparound case management, any kind of connection to medical care, sliding scale therapy, things like that.
Okay, great work. Big up to SunServe. And then you also are part of Ignite Women South Florida.
Yeah.
And what's that?
It's a women's social connection organization. My boss and good friend Emily Cohen is actually one of the co-founders, and Gabby, who I know is on the show before
Gabby.
as well. Hi. She actually texted me this morning. She's like, "I didn't know you were going on GTV." I was like, "I didn't know either."
Hey, welcome. I'm glad you're. So all of you have been on now.
So it's a women's social connection organization. It started basically out of the idea that since we can't keep a lot of establishments open, we can create a community of women, and that's something that can't be taken away from us. And I'm the community coordinator with Ignite, so basically I help with events, help link them to community partners and sponsors, just try to make connections that I think are fitting towards our mission, and even some of the fundraising events that we do.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I know that there's an event coming up this Thursday. We're actually here in the 1310 Gallery in Fort Lauderdale. So, and this Thursday we're having
one of our mixers. So we have a
Yes.
mixer the first Thursday of every month, and it's going to be here at the gallery in collaboration with Nikki Lopez Creative and What's Your Elephant.
Yes.
So we're going to have a mixer here for women. We try to keep it spicy with different
Different
places,
experiences,
different
right?
experiences.
Yeah.
We have pretty good attendance, so I'm hoping a lot of you will come out. And
Yeah, so we'll add the link to this conversation. It's gonna be this Thursday, I think, at 7 p.m. 1310 Gallery. There's no charge. It's gonna be also a short film screening by the 1310 Bandits. You could come on out. And I know you have something else that Ignite is working on. That's gonna be a
so
bigger show.
November 3rd, it's a little bit of a ways out. We've been marketing early. We have a
to.
fundraiser for Gilda's Club, and it's called the Peacock Masquerade Ball. We've already sold some VIP tickets, which
I bought.
include.
I bought.
There you go.
Yeah,
You'll be
I
at
got a
the
good.
tent with
I
us.
got a good
That'll be
deal,
good.
so I bought it.
Yeah, there was a promotion earlier on, but right now VIP tickets are $75 and regular tickets are $35. Everybody gets a bag with some swag.
Nice.
But I think general admission includes one drink ticket. In the VIP tent, you have unlimited alcohol and food, and we are looking for sponsors. So if you want to get your name out there to a whole bunch of women in your organization and promote, we're still looking for sponsors. You can contact me or Emily.
Great. So that's in November. So, Darlene, let's get to know you a little bit.
Okay, let's
Yes.
do it.
So, in terms of, I always ask all my guests, in terms of the LGBTQ spectrum or rainbow, how do you identify?
I definitely identify within the L.
In the L, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a woman who likes other women. So
Okay, so
I think
that's
that would be
good.
the L.
Yeah, I identify as the L as well, lesbian. How about give us a sense of your coming out story? Like, what was it like for you?
So I came out recently. I'm a new gay baby, as some people
Welcome,
say.
welcome.
Yeah, I came out about 2 years ago. I first came out as bi. I was married to a man before for 3.5 years. I got married really young. I'm still really good friends with him.
Good.
But I think I came out as bi for different reasons. And I know sometimes that invalidates the bi community, but I really did feel when I first came out that,
that's fine,
I was bi. I didn't want to invalidate the relationship that I had with that man. I did emotionally connect, I just didn't sexually connect. But also in terms of my story growing up, I wasn't very close with my mom. My mom's gay. part of me like didn't want to be like her, and then another part was worried about how my grandmother would take it. She wasn't very accepting of my mother, so there was a lot of fear over that. And I guess over the last 2 years that I've been out, I've been able to kind of consolidate the experience that I had while being married for 3.5 years to what my preferences are now, and knowing that that's okay, and I can still identify, under the L.
Right. So we were talking a little earlier because much of Darlene's story is like mine. I was also married to a man. This is actually his apartment. And we're also married.
I just learned that today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Darlene was like, I noticed the same last name. I wonder if you're like brothers or so. Well, brothers. He would be my brother because I'm a woman. So, but anyway, so yeah.
I also kept my last name.
Okay, so you kept it. Yeah. I've thought a little bit about it because I have two. So I was like, do I drop it? And I'm at probably like a 20% chance of dropping it. One day on Facebook, I was like, what do you guys think? Vote. And it was like 2 people said keep it. So, but anyway.
I mean, to me, all last names are patriarchal, so it wasn't really my husband's last name thing. I was just like, I like how it sounds. And then nice. Coming here from Cuba, like I had Velez Naristani, and it was just,
it's a lot.
It was complicated for people, and I feel like Darlene Hollander was just
so
concise and easy. So I was like, and I like him. He's a good guy. So we're good friends, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep it.
Yeah, I like that. So for me to like, so I have kids who have the name. So if I have grandkids, then they would most likely carry the name as well. It works out well, and I've used the name for so long. So like all my degrees, well not all, some of my degrees. So some of it. So just once in a while, I'm like, oh, should I drop it? But there's a slight possibility. But I'm fine to carry it because Wright is my dad's last name, and Muir is the father of my children and my ex-husband. So like you say, it's all like...
It's all it's not like you're taking, it's no
and a lot of people, because
type thing.
I think Maya Angelou, I think it was someone she was married to for like a year, and she was like, I like this name. And she, I think so. There's a couple people who have done that you see like in the public eye, and it's like, it was like someone who they're married to that they decided to keep decades later.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
And you said you guys are friends as well.
Yeah, we're really good friends. He's a great guy. We connect over art and all kinds of different things. So
that's great. That's great. So if anybody has any questions, we got Darlene here. She does work with SunServe Women's Services in Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors, and she also is with Ignite Women South Florida. And I want to big up SunServe for another reason. SunServe is actually one of the sponsors for Thou Art Woman.
Yes, we are.
Yes, so very grateful for that. And Thou Art Woman is this coming up one in March. It's a 3-day weekend for women who love women and art. And if you go to thouartwoman.com, then you can RSVP. So we're asking, so like you said, November is like, but we got a plan too. It's the same thing we're planning so we're planning so people can plan to come in from out of town as well. And it's going to be something where, as you know, people come and perform. We're actually going to do a full-on art show as well.
Okay.
So in addition to, it's been mostly focused on performing arts, but it's going to be also visual arts. And then
when I first moved here, I came to the one in November, so it was a really great experience just to see the community and come together like that.
Yeah, and it's funny because that event also started here in the 1310 Gallery. The first one, 2014, was about 50 of us, and we're like, wow, this is great, and it was great.
And now it's like this
hundreds.
Huge,
and it's like every time we did it, it would just be, each one was better than the other, and more and more it's like spread very organically. And then people started coming from all the town. So the one you went to in November, people were coming in from Atlanta, and then same March, it just kept growing. And then now the next one in March, so far we have the venue for the performing night is the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. So it's a beautiful,
very cool,
beautiful venue here in Fort Lauderdale. So we're really excited. We're going to have, we're right now working on where we're going to have the art show, and we're going to have a brunch on Sunday. So we're really excited about it. Really excited.
It's a great event.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Do you ever see yourself like doing any kind of performance or art or so?
So I majored in art history undergrad. I dreaded that they made you take studio and all that, but I really got into a lot of installation work and more sculpture work.
Okay.
I haven't done it in a really long time since undergrad. So I mean, I'm open to it, but it's not something that I'm working on right now. I keep busy in other ways.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. I'm glad I asked that because I had no idea. So we'll do a call to artists. So if you feel like you have something, because within the theme of women who love women, and so if you feel like there's something that you would like to make and include in the show,
maybe that'll get me back into that.
Yeah, you never know, and that would be good. Thanks for joining. We have a lot of people on. We have Jodianne, we have Eternity, Caroline. I said Joanne, and I'm always scared to touch this because I don't want to stop it. So yeah. So if you have any questions, ask questions of Darlene here, So I want to talk a little bit more about what you're saying about in terms of coming out as bi and your concerns about like not invalidating the community. Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I think when I came out as bi, a lot of people were like, "Are you sure?" Or it's also like more accepted because you're still kind of, you know,
kind of straight.
Kind of, not really, but
that's
how a lot of people outside of our community see it. And I think some people just think that bi is not a thing, and there are a lot of people that are bi and have stuck to that identity throughout. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when people come out as bi, whether it's out of fear or whatever, it can cause that conversation of, is it really a thing, or is it just kind of like a fallback or a cushion? There are a lot of people in our community that actually are bi, and I wouldn't want to invalidate that for anyone.
Right. Well, it's funny, I went to a training for HRC Human Rights Campaign a couple years ago, and the stats are that most people in the LGBTQ community are actually bi. But have a challenge with sharing it because of judgment from both the straight community and the queer community.
I've also heard, I've heard that too.
People...
I used to work in the youth department at SunServe before I moved to women's services, and I also heard from a lot of the kids, like, if they're presently with, there's just a lot of stigma if they're presently with a male, if they're female and presently with a male partner, they might feel like they can't go to Pride because even though, and especially if their partner is not also bi, they feel like they're not a part of the community, or the LGBT community is going to judge them, and vice versa within the heterosexual community if they're with a partner of the same sex. So I've heard that a lot too.
Yeah. Interesting. Jody and the bi talk. Well, Jody runs a group on Facebook. And I noticed that there's this negative connotation about bi women, so that's a whole nother story. But I'm not sure why, but there is this thing. You know, I don't know if you're aware of that. I don't know if it's the black lesbian community. Do you think bisexuality is a transition? Is a question.
No, I think some people. I think sexuality and sexual identity can change and evolve throughout time for different people, but I don't think it's a transition. I think there are people that absolutely identify as bi throughout. It sometimes is, fortunately and unfortunately, a stepping stone for a lot of people coming out, but I don't think it's like this mythical thing.
There are people who are genuinely, that's who they are. And I actually feel that humans are bisexual. I feel that most are. And that there's a spectrum that pulls us more towards one or the other, and that society like demands and mandates that we are supposed to be straight, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're all seeking human connection, and that looks differently, and the factors that go into that, how you understand gender and sexual identity, that affects a lot about how people identify. But I think there's definitely people who very genuinely identify as bi and live their lives that way.
Right, definitely.
And that's that. There's no choose a side or any of that. That's very valid. Right,
and I know some people who are like, right now they're with a man, and the next person might be another man or a woman, and so on. And it's very fluid, and it's like they're attracted to the person and not like their gender, and so on.
And a lot of people identifying just as queer because it fits more, their description. I think there's.
Can you say you've been in love with both sexes?
I guess that depends on what the definition of love is. I think you can love people in different ways. I think at this point in my life, for me, I don't settle easily. Love is a very all-encompassing thing, and I can love someone, but being in love is more of a deep connection where a lot of factors need to be present. So I think if we're talking about being in love, I've loved men and I love men. Most of my friends are men. And in terms of a romantic connection, I have loved men, but in terms of being in love and what that means to me today, I think it would have to be I've been in love with women. It's where so all the factors, all the pieces kind of come together. I've loved men, but I don't think I've been in love with men. All the pieces have not been there.
Okay. I feel I've been in love with both men and women. Okay. But probably more with women.
I'm talking about romantic.
Romantic.
Love. Yeah. So you feel like you've been in love with romantic love.
Romantic love. As a kid, I like boys from very young. So I don't know if you can call like 12 and 13 as being in love, but I felt in love with boys. Like in love. Like I can't stop thinking about it, excited, like just really a lot of this feeling connected to somebody. So this is teenage years, in my 20s and like that. So I felt in love. And with women, definitely. let's see here, not just being attracted to in love. So yeah, you're saying you could be attracted to.
I'm actually saying I could have an emotional. I know a lot of lesbians. I've heard that they're like, oh, I could have sex with a man, but there's no emotional connection. That's something I feel with a woman. For me, the physical, sexual connection is what's missing to men. I can think a man is attractive, but that's not something I want to engage in. But in terms of, yes, I can think a man is attractive, but I won't be sexually attracted to a man. But I can definitely bond with men in both a romantic and just a loving way.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, very, very interesting. Thank you for all these questions. Anybody else has questions, please ask the questions. It's good to hear. Do you feel like it's a little dark here? You see yourself here? Do you see it? You think it's fine? I'm going to shift here a little bit. Usually I have a whole team. We're doing okay though. We're doing okay. Yes. So why all of this work? Why SunServe? Why Ignite? Why all of this?
So I've always been big about giving back to my community. So the minute I came out, I moved to Fort Lauderdale. I was looking for a job, and there was an opening in the SunServe Youth Department.
Wow.
And I was like, I need a job right now. And I want to give back to my community. I had heard a lot of great things about SunServe. So
nice.
I decided to apply, and I got into this work. I'd always been, an activist towards women's rights, things like that. It was a natural connection to go to the women's department. I had always been helping, with their events and all of that. Just moving here and wanting to give back to my community.
So you jumped in.
I jumped right. I really did. I've learned a lot, and I think that was definitely, I don't regret it. I think it's definitely the way to do it.
And what triggered you to come out? Because you were married to a man.
So
and you married him, but at some point, what happened for you to be like,
I was in my first semester of law school at the time at University of Chicago. I ended up taking some time off. I was going through the divorce, and I was going through some health issues. And once I realized, I want a divorce, there was this part of me that I hadn't explored for the reasons I mentioned earlier, and I was like, this shook my entire world. My plan of everything that I thought I wanted in life. So I was like, okay, if everything has just fallen apart, so to speak, this is something I owe to myself to explore. So I decided I'm gonna try this out and figure out who I really am. And
okay, good for you.
it was a process.
Yeah.
Was that a question?
She's saying, so then what makes, well, she's not bisexual.
I'm not bisexual.
She's not bisexual.
I'm just saying I initially came out as bisexual for reasons.
She's a lesbian, as am I.
Yes.
But I think this is like you're saying, some people you may feel you're that, and maybe you really are. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so there is this kind of impression sometimes, there's this, it's like a stepping stone to being gay. But some people really are bisexual. And some people are really they may be. I think for me, when I came out, I didn't necessarily say I am bisexual, but I felt that I was.
Yeah.
And I was still married to a man. I came out years before me and David ended our marriage. So I was years of being with a man and loving women. So I was living bisexually, so I felt that. And then I feel like once the marriage ended, I was like, I really know I just only want to be with women. I don't see myself, I might see, like I was saying, I like Maxwell. I might be like, whoo, Maxwell, hey, but I don't really want to have sex with him. He's just he's sexy to me. I like how he sings,
I have a ton of gay husbands who I find very attractive, but I'm like, if I wasn't a lesbian, you weren't gay, totally, but I think for me, the idea of being in love is very all-encompassing. All the factors need to be there, and I don't think maybe I was like that when I was younger, but now it's definitely the case.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
I'm glad we were able to
clarify that.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
I can see why there was confusion. She thought I was bisexual.
Thank you. Any more questions, please feel free to ask questions. I like something else that me and Darlene were talking about before. In terms of her presentation is very feminine.
Yes.
But that you're not necessarily what people expect from someone who presents feminine, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people I've gotten from, am I sure? Yeah, it's taken me some time to consolidate.
So now she's asking me about it because of Maxwell.
Because of Maxwell.
Well, okay, so I do feel that I'm a lesbian, but I actually relate to, I'm going to say, all parts, the LGBTQ. I feel like I'm a lesbian. A part of me, I feel, yes, part of me is bisexual, but not bisexual in terms of I want to have a lover who is a man, but I can be attracted to a man. Like you said, Maxwell. Maxwell is probably my man crush, Gay, I call myself gay. I feel like gay, to me, it's the same thing as lesbian. This gay means that I love.
Do you think that's a cultural thing? Because I've had some clients from Jamaica, and they're just gay, and I asked, and they were like, well, in Jamaica, it's just gay.
I like it.
And it's interesting that we have all these divisions here, but in Jamaica and in other countries.
More people are using LGBTQ because America is doing it, as even in Israel. And in Israel, they'll say, I'm LGBTQ. Or like the LGBTQ people, but like that. Yeah. But in Jamaica, you more hear gay. Yeah. They are trying to formally do it as well, but it's hard. It's like we keep changing. So, but yeah, I say gay. I mean, my favorite word for who I am is saying I'm gay, and it just feels nice. Lesbian sometimes feels like this more technical term, but I say it because I know that. Too. Yeah, I know it means a woman who loves a woman. Yeah. So So LGBTQ, and then I don't necessarily say I'm transgender, but I do feel connected to the trans community in terms of being someone who, I'm gender non-conforming. Some people have called me trans masculine, and then queer. So I feel like I'm kind of all. Yeah, it's just everybody. Yeah. So I feel that. So yes, okay. So we're talking about that you're femme presenting, and there's some things that people have the expectation that they don't realize that you could build a house, for example.
I cannot build a house, and we were talking about there's a hook on my door that I can't quite let get to form the way I want it to, but I think it's more my attitude. I've gotten from a lot of people. I'm an alpha female, and I think that's sometimes interpreted as masculine. And I don't have a problem with the term androgynous or being labeled like that from an attitude point of view. But I also don't think that a lot of the things like either being handy or just being alpha or being outgoing or being opinionated, I don't think those things are necessarily masculine. I can see how they're perceived that way because of our very binary world and culture, but I don't think those things make me masculine. I take pride in being a feminine lesbian and just being who I am and having the attitude and the approach to life and the leadership style that I have.
Right. So I always like to clarify if some people don't know what we're talking about. When you say alpha female, what does that mean?
It just means a female who's in control, who's outgoing, who can take charge, who can
dominant in some ways.
Yes, dominant. We can talk about it in those terms as well. Okay. Yeah. She's very opinionated, very outspoken. I've always been that way. Right.
And then some people tie those kind of characteristics into being more masculine.
Yeah, I feel like that's mostly because the way I present, I don't think. Well, now I have shorter hair, so I guess.
But it's still a really feminine cut.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I like that. By the way, I like it. I like it's edgy. I like it.
Yeah, it's more like a style thing. Yeah. But mostly, I think I get that because of being a more dominant female. There are all these stereotypes within our community and within the lesbian community of like butch lesbian or dyke or femme and I'm supposed to be all these like submissive, quiet things that I'm not. So just because I present a certain way.
Yeah, but you just got to be yourself, which I love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And we were saying earlier, I get that too, where people feel like, oh, there's some boxes, or there's boxes right here, I should move them, or I should be able to know how to like maybe kill a bug. Or, I don't know, fix something, I don't know any of those things, and I don't want to know them. Like, I want to have sons, and I'm like, guys, do that. Like, I don't, and maybe that's sexist, I don't know. But I don't want to do it. Does it cause problems for you sexually with women that you date? Being dominant, like...
No, because I think I'm very choosy when I date women that even though if they do present more masculine or feminine, which I really don't have a preference towards, it's really, I guess, physically. I don't think I date women who like want to impose those gender roles. Okay. If I ever did make that choice, I definitely think it would be a problem because if you love me and you're going to be in a relationship with me, that's something normally the people that I date, the women that I date, understand before they date me, and it's something that they admire about me and like about me. So.
Right. So Jodie has another question. This is good. You're co-hosting with me. Thank you, Julianne. She's making an assumption and I don't think it's correct. No. She's saying she's assuming that you date Dom.
Dom in what sexually?
Dom is mean. Like, I think she means more like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think she means like masculine. Like some people feel like if you're a feminine lesbian, you date masculine lesbians. You're masculine lesbian, you date feminine. But you
know. When I first came out, I really thought I was going to date femme lesbians. It's not the way it's worked out. I would say like the last woman I dated was very sporty spice.
Sporty spice.
But I mean, she never like shopped in the men's department.
Okay.
The most like butchy thing, and I hate like all these labels, but the most butchy thing I would say she did was wear bow ties, but it was more of like a fashion statement for her.
Right.
So I don't know if you're equating dom with butch or more masculine looking or like a bedroom thing. I'm not.
Yeah, you could clarify, but
no, I don't think I have I would definitely date feminine lesbians.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of I like equality within the relationship.
Right. So nobody who has. Okay, so she means that. Yeah, so like masculine. So no, you don't have to.
No, I don't have to. I mean, I have.
Right.
But
So I like
don't
this
have
because
to.
so you're pretty much like not in any kind of limitation. It's pretty much like you want to be with women.
Yeah.
So the woman could be a very masculine woman, feminine, androgynous, tomboy, like any range.
Yeah.
A woman.
Yeah. Just a woman.
That's good.
Yeah, I
That's
like
great.
it. It opens up your
You
choices.
have a lot of
It's a
options.
very small community
Yeah,
here
that
in
is
Fort
lovely.
Lauderdale, so.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, I am not really attracted to a very masculine woman other than myself, you know. So if I see someone, like I have good friends like my pal Nick, I'm like, hey, handsome. I love that. And I appreciate the, you know, handsomeness and swag of a masculine woman,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to kiss the woman.
Usually I will say when I do date a masculine woman, there has to be some kind of feminine quality in some way,
Okay.
shape, or form. Not necessarily physically presenting, but just
Right.
in some
So like
manner.
painting the toenails or something.
So, yeah, or
so someone
like...
who's like looking like a man to you is going to be challenging. Like people
for
think
physical attraction, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, the first woman I dated when I came out, she had very feminine features, but
Okay.
like she shopped in the men's department. But she had
Okay.
very feminine features, so physically I was still attracted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But so that's so interesting. So pretty much, and it makes sense. Some people ask the question, why date a woman if the woman looks like a man? You know, people have this thing and get challenged with all of
Yeah.
these things. But yeah, but this is just your sense of things. Like you like to see some feminine, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there
makes
needs
sense.
to be some kind of for the physicality of
For
the
you,
attraction
right.
for me. Yes.
Right. That's really good. So let's see. So Jody is not into femmes for relationships. Sex, yes. I've never been in love with a femme either. Okay. And Jody, I'm gonna think that Jody, you identify as a femme. I think so. I don't know about her personality, but her presentation.
Okay.
Her presentation is, and she's cool people. She actually, you were at the opening. Her and her partner Nancy did the bar. You were here on Saturday on the What's Your Elephant opening.
Who was the one that was wearing that lacy,
Black,
beautiful,
yeah.
that dress, girl? Yes, I was in love with your dress.
Yes, so Nancy's pretty handsome, had on a button-down black shirt and dreads, and then on the side was Jody.
They were both running the bar.
Both running the bar.
Yeah,
So you know her.
yeah.
And they should. I don't know if Jody's gonna be here on Thursday, but I know that Nancy is gonna be here on Thursday. So yeah, so we're gonna be wrapping up. I have some. I don't know if you've seen my show before, but I end with what we call Queer Conversation closing questions. So just like I'll ask a question, just answer it real quick, not a lot of thought. We'll wrap up with that. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. I thank everybody for the questions. I'm gonna big up Jody Ann because she's been a co-host today, asking questions. She's the one who asked a very provocative question last week that I was like, okay, I have to take off my glasses.
That's why I said be kind, because I was told about that.
So
I think it's been pretty tempered.
So yeah, I think so. So just to remind people to come out this Thursday to the 1310 Gallery at 7 o'clock for the What's Your Elephant Ignite Woman. What is it? Ignite Women South Florida.
Yes.
Collaboration with 1310 Band. It's gonna be a lovely evening for women who love women. Let's see here. She says, okay, they'll be there serving drinks and stuff. So thanks. We look forward to that. That's Upgrade Your Party. We'll big them up while we're here. And thank you for watching this. Please like the page. Please join me every Tuesday, 6 p.m. EST, and share this conversation. And so my closing questions. The first one, no math. Well, you might be doing math.
No math.
Okay, that's fine. So what inspires you?
People with ideas, people with courage to make change.
Okay, great. I like that. What makes you laugh?
Wow, what makes me laugh? I don't know, just a good sense of humor.
Good sense of humor. Okay. What's sexy?
A woman in control of herself.
A woman in control of herself. Nice. What's the other one now? Last one. What's so great about being a lesbian?
Women. Just women.
I like that a lot. Yes.
Women are amazing.
Yes, indeed, I agree 100%. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Bye, everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining.